friends, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, welcome to my channel. My name is Jackie and let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start off with two of these Dollar Tree arch windows decor pieces, and I'm going to take my Phillips screwdriver, my mini one, and open up the back. There's a couple of screws, or 3 screws on each one, and remove the back portion off of them, and I'm going to simply hot glue a bead of glue down the side of one of the fronts of the arch windows to one of the backs of the arch windows. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. I'll hot glue one of the backs to that same front, and then I'll take the second front and add it to the two sides of the two backs, if that makes sense, as you can see here. So once I have all this hot glued together and it's nice and cool and it's all nice and adhered, then I'll take some black apple barrel paint with my brush, and I'll just gently brush all the seams to make sure that none of the hot glue is visible. And so I'll do that to all 4 sides. And so once I'm happy with that, now I'm taking some of this wheatgrass from Walmart, and I'm just going to remove the white sprigs that are on this wheatgrass, and I'm going to divide them 2 by 2 and remove the little ends, and I'm going to hot glue one end to another, and I'll use my little clips to keep them in place. And then once they're dry, I'll hot glue the 2 ends together to create little wreaths. And so I do this to all 4 of these pieces, but then I go back and I do add another sprig to 2 of my mini wreaths. So here you see the 4 made by 2 sprigs, and here I'm removing the glue and adding a third to this one here, and I'll add a third one to another one to this one here. And so the reason why I'm making 2 larger ones is because I want the 2 larger ones for the fronts of the arch windows, and I want the 2 smaller ones for the backs of the arch windows, and you'll see in a second what I'm talking about. So here I'm just hot gluing them and using my little clips. These are the little clips from the Dollar Tree. They're just the laundry clips, and they work really, really well. Okay, so here are my little wreaths. So my little sign here's the larger wreath, and so I'm just going to hot glue it onto the arch window itself, trying to make sure I like it where it's placed. And so I'm going to go ahead and hot glue it, and I'll do that to the opposite side, another large wreath to go around this whole little sign. And I'm liking the way it's looking. And now I'll do the smaller wreaths to the backs. These are the 2 backs of the arch windows, the ones that I unscrewed and took apart. So I'll just add the small ones on here. And so this DIY is a part of Try It Tuesday, and Try It Tuesday is the video that we try someone else's DIY. Oh, and here I'm going to add these little thumbtacks to where the little holes are, where they were for the screws, and then that's it, I'm done. And so I'll show you whose DIYs I tried. And so my inspiration was Sibes Crafty Shack and Unicorn Dust Designs, and so I kind of mishmashed them together and made them my own. So what do you guys think? Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, this is the Try It Tuesday challenge, and it is hosted by Sammy over at Unicorn Dust Designs. And this month it is co-hosted by Angie over at the Red-Headed Scrapper. So let's go on to the next DIY. Okay, for this next project, I'm taking one of these garden fence panels, And there are these rubber plastic panels from the Dollar Tree. And I'm going to take my EMT shears, which cut through almost anything. And I'm going to snip off the bottom stakes on there. We don't need those. And there's just 3. And so I'll just cut them off real quick. And I'll also cut off those side pieces that join them together. And these were a little bit harder to remove, but a little bit of finagling and they come right off. And so I get both sides. And so once I get those off, then I'll go ahead and begin to take them apart in the center. So I'll cut straight through the middle, and I'll cut on the other 2 sides till I get 4 pieces. So here are my 4 pieces. So now I'm taking one of these framed decor pieces from the Dollar Tree, and thankfully this one's got little prongs in the back that open up, so it makes it easy to remove. And I'm going to rip off the paper. There's just a piece of paper that's glued on there, and I don't worry about ripping it all off completely because I'm just going to use this Apple Barrel black paint, and I'm going to paint it all up and cover it completely, one good coverage. And once it's done and dry, then I'll place it back in the little frame, put it back in position, close it up. And now I'm going to assemble these little panels, these pieces, and I'm just going to glue them as I did the arch windows earlier. And I'm going to glue them in all 4 together. And it takes quite a bit of glue, but we'll do some painting as well as we did with the first project. So I'm just going to do the same setup, the same process, and that's basically it as far as this project. Now we'll just have to paint it. Oh, I do reinforce with more glue, and I don't mind that it shows because it kind of makes it look like a weld. And so since these little panels are supposed to be like sought iron, and the added glue just gives it that texture, that effect, and makes it look like it was really welded together. So I was good. I was happy with that. So I just add more glue wherever I see any holes. Make sure it's nice and complete. And so here I add my paint, and it's just a regular black Apple Barrel paint. And I'll do the inside and the outside. And I'll give it a few minutes for it to dry. And in the meantime, I'll take my base and I'll flip it upside down. And I have these brown cubes that came off of a brain teaser game from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to hot glue 1 on each end, so it'll kind of create a riser. And so I'll do this to all 4 sides. And once I get this done, then I'm ready to assemble the top portion. And that's basically going to be it. And in my inspiration pieces, this portion is actually inside of the frame, but I'm just going to do it right on top. And so I'm just going to add 4 beads of glue, 1 on each corner. And it's just going to be as simple as placing this piece on top. And that's it. It's done. And I'm just going to add a candle holder inside because I don't have a pillar candle. I don't happen to have one on hand. Well, I have a red one, but I don't want to put a red one in here. So I'm just going to use a candle holder, a black candle holder from the Dollar Tree, and a candle. And then I'm going to add some ferns. And that's it. I'm going to call it a day. And my inspiration came from Kamira over at Dying to DIY and Antoinette over at Simple Yet Chic. So what do you guys think? Okay, for this DIY, I'm taking these 2 little truck plaques. This thin one came from the Dollar Tree, and this thicker one came from Dollar General. And so I'm going to remove this piece that says Hello Spring off this Dollar Tree one, and I'll save it for later. And now on this one from the Dollar General, I will first remove this Easter egg with the bunny, and as you can see, it's raised, so it'll pop right off with a little finagling of my metal scraper. So once that comes off, then I'll go ahead and start scoring where the top portion of the truck meets the bottom portion. And because this piece is pretty thick, I had to score quite a few times. So I even did the sides, and then I had to flip it over to the back and use a ruler and score some more. I don't even know how many times I scored, but I scored it quite a few times to get this thing to pop off. But finally, it just popped right off. So then I took a little bit of sandpaper and sanded off any rough edges. And so now it's just a matter of doing some painting. And I'm taking this little crate from the Dollar Tree, removing the sticker, and I'm going to blend some apple barrel paint in the color bright blue and some folk art paint in the color blue lullaby. And so I'm going to mix them together to create the shade that I'm looking for. And so I just mix them up, and I'll just start painting, and I'll paint this whole little crate on the outside. And I began to paint the back end of the truck, but then I decided to remove these little pieces. I didn't realize that they were just metal pieces, so they pop right off. And then I wanted to, I removed the second one as well. And then I wanted to just save the welcome portion, but it was just too much to try to paint around it. So then I decided to remove the little license plate that says Friends. And so I'll remove that real quick. And so, to make a long story short, I just painted the whole truck blue. I painted this whole bottom part blue with the exception of the tires. And I also painted the other truck the same color. So as you can see here, everything kind of matches. And so now I'm going to add the little crate to the big portion of the truck. And I'm going to add the bottom back part of the truck to the other side of the crate to create like the back. And I'm going to go ahead and hot glue the Hello Spring piece back on there, and the little license plate that says Friends, and the little bunny, the little reflectors as well, the little lights, and also the little bunny with the one Easter egg. I'll go ahead and glue that on there. But before that, I realized I didn't paint this portion here, so I go ahead and repaint all this. Thank goodness my shade came out just right, because I had to remix some more paint. So once I got that done, now I'll add my little bunny and the little Easter egg onto there. And now comes the fun part, and it is adding the floral to the bed of my truck. And so here I'm picking up these wildflowers from the Dollar Tree, these purple ones and these pink ones, and also this greenery bouquet from the Dollar Tree, and these blue hydrangeas from the Dollar Tree, and then these from Walmart. They're called hop clover. So now I just take them all apart with my EMT shears, and I'll start arranging the flowers on the bed of the truck, and that is it. And my inspiration piece came from Christy Creates DIY, only I didn't create the large sign, I just created the little truck with the florals. So what do you guys think? Okay, so for my final DIY, I'm taking one of these little wooden trucks from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to go in with some of the Waverly chalk paint in the color Truffle, and I'm going to paint it real quick. And I also paint the wheels in the color Black by Apple Barrel. So now I'm taking these wooden carrots from the Dollar Tree. They're supposed to be ornaments. And I'm taking my glue stick, and I'm going to add some scrapbooking paper to these cute little carrots, and I'll use the green on the tops, and I'll use this orange paper for the bottoms. And so once that's dry, I'll use my scissors to remove the excess paper. And once I remove the excess paper, it's just as easy as taking a nail file and sanding off any other pieces that are left on there. And that gives it a nice close cut. So here I'm taking my little detailing scissors and removing the excess chunks of paper, as you can see here. And I'll do that to both. And I'll actually do the same effect to both sides. I just don't show it on here. But I do add the scrapbooking paper to both sides. So here's my little nail file, and I'll just file it until all the little pieces come off, and that gives it a nice clean cut. So once they're all done, I'm taking these ribbons from the Dollar Tree, and they come, well, these here are orange and they're green, almost the same shades as my scrapbooking paper, so perfect. And I just wrap around the two little carrots and tie a little knot and have them come out from the top, and I snip off any excess that's sticking out too far. And so once I get both of these done, then I'll just take my little truck and add a bead of glue on one side, and I'll put one carrot there, and I'll turn it over to the other side, turn it around, and I'll add another bead of glue to the other side and add my other little carrot there. And so then that's it. This little truck is carrying these two little carrots. So cute and so perfect for a tier tray. And my inspiration came from Sarah over at Jujubee Crafts and More. So what do you guys think? And please leave me a comment down below and let me know which one was your favorite of all these DIYs. And don't forget to go to my description box and follow the playlist for this wonderful challenge. And just in case the links are not working, I'll also pin it in my comments. So either way, you'll find the link to the playlist. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe if you haven't yet. It would really help my channel grow. And until my next video, stay healthy, safe, and strong, and have a great day. Bye bye.